Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Tops Outdoor Adventures. It is October 28th, and I've got the shop all shut up, or you would not be able to hear me because we've got a 20+ mile an hour north wind blowing today. And we're going down the road of how do I take care of my bees over the winter. Well, what I'm going to talk about today is something called the mountain camp method. It is a way that we put an emergency food supply on our beehives. I've had a lot of questions about it, so I figured I would just make a video and we would walk the dog and go right through it. So let's say that this is the colony that I am fixing to overwinter. All right, the first thing I want to do is scrape this old wax and propolis off the top of this thing. Good time about winter, it gives you the opportunity to go out and take care of your gear and get things cleaned up and straightened up for next year. But that'll do for now. We're going to mountain camp these bees. Okay, what mountain camping is, we're going to put, in a nutshell, a large amount of sugar on top of this hive that these bees can get to if needed. All right, so we've got our bees all fed up the best we can, using sugar syrup, fondant, whatever blows your hair back. All right, we're getting ready to button the girls up. See you next spring. So I go out here and I don't have my migratory cover. I take my migratory cover off. I am looking at the topmost brood box of my hive and I see honeybees. I mean, I've got a good strong colony here. I'm gonna grab a sheet of newspaper, or in my case, pistol targets. I don't have any newspaper, but I have lots of pistol targets. Ask me why. And we're going to lay it right on top of our hive. Once we get that in place, we're going to take just a little box. This is called a feeder shim. I make these myself. I run up to the local lumber store and I buy a 1x4, and I make me a box that is the exact dimension of my deep or supers, just whatever, right? And I set it right on top of my hive. Now, the bees are eventually going to work through this newspaper, or in my case, pistol target, to get to the sugar. So that's the concept. We're going to dump in a bunch of sugar here. So newspaper goes on goes our feeder shim. I take a little bottle of water and I spray that paper down to get it reasonably wet. And that's about plenty. And then I will take and I will dump 2 to 4 pounds of sugar in here, just however much this will hold. Just spread it out evenly on the top. Actually, I leave a spot in the middle that I don't put any sugar. And I put a little slit in the paper, kind of get the bees started to come up. Now, why do we use, what was in that water? Ah, well, something smells. Why do we put a little water down? I put water down so that when I put the sugar in on top of it, the sugar will draw some moisture up and it'll kind of crystallize on the bottom. Because I don't want the bees to knock a hole in this, you know, chew through this paper, and then all of a sudden they get 2, 3, 4 pounds of sugar just like sands through an hourglass, going right straight down through the hive and right out the bottom board. So that starts me off with a little bit of moisture to get that sugar to crystallize on the bottom, so I've got a hard surface. A lot of people will take and they'll put a quilting board or quilting box on top of this, which, I mean, I never have done that. In my mind, any condensation that forms inside the hive that forms up here will just get drawn up into the newspaper anyway and then absorbed by the sugar. So once you do this method, for example, you put this on here November 1st is usually the time I start mountain camping my hives. If I go back come December 1st and check my hives, all I do is take the top cover off, make sure I still got plenty of sugar. That sugar is hard. it's almost like maybe a candy board kind of, because that's the moisture that it's drawing out of the hive. So in my opinion, the mountain camp, when done with newspaper, also serves to control the moisture in your hive. Once I get that full of sugar, let me step out of the shot here for just a second. Grab me a migratory cover. Once I get my 2 to 4 pounds of sugar in there, I put a lid on, and this hive is sealed up. I will take my handy dandy pocket knife and I will trim up the excess paper hanging over the edge, and these girls are ready for winter. And once I put this on, I will not go back into my hives probably until a good warm day in February. Other than once a month I go out and I raise the cover up and look and see. I may have to add sugar. I didn't at all last year. I had enough resources down here, they never touched the mountain camp. Like I say, the idea behind this, it is an emergency feed source. So there's a couple variations with this. Let's say, for example, I decide I want to get into my hive and check on my bees, and wouldn't it figure my phone's ringing over here. Let me go get it shut off because I hate distractions. All right, we're back. Say for whatever reason I want to get into my hives, well, I come out here and I take my migratory cover off, set it to the side, and I take my feeder shim off, which is kind of stuck to my paper now. Then I'm left with a great big pile of sugar that's sitting on top of this, and I have to try to peel it up off, scrape it off, and the end result is that I destroy my mountain camp and I have to start over. So I've done things a little differently. I take a feeder shim and I mount hardware cloth to the bottom of it. All right, something big enough for the bees to get through. I think this is probably 1/2 inch hardware cloth. So my mountain camp is this box, right? And then everything same from there. On goes my newspaper / pistol target. I get it all set down in there, and I put the sugar to it just like you saw me do before. On goes a lid. This is a really sloppy job because I'm just in a hurry to make a quick video that's not going to bore y'all to death. And once the lid sets on there, then we're good to go, right? Once we get the lid to fit on here. Why is my lid so jacked? There we go. All right, then we're good to go. Now in Oklahoma, we strap our hives down because of the wind. I'll strap this booger off, strap this booger down. In that case, if for whatever reason I've got to get into my hives, but I don't want to destroy my mountain camp, I can just take the lid off the top of the hive. I can take my hive tool and I can break loose my mountain camp, pick it off, set it to the side, and then when I'm done doing whatever it is I had to get in there to do, I just replace it and we go back down the road. So that's the mountain camp deal in a heartbeat, or in a quick short. Now the reason this thing's popping up, I got the screen a little too big in here, but it will suffice. It'll do a fine job. And this is the mountain camp method. Emergency feeding for your bees. So I don't know if that clears things up. I hope it makes things a little better for you. You know, in a nutshell, newspaper down on top of the top brood box. On goes the feeder shim. In goes the sugar. On goes the top lid. That's the mechanics of it. Give it a little squirt of water on a newspaper, get a little moisture in it, and that will cause the bottom of your sugar to crystallize so it doesn't leak through your hive. There's not a whole lot left to tell you. I've used this method successfully for a long time. Matter of fact, going all the way back to Grandpap feeding his bees, we used the mountain camp method. So, like I say, if you guys got any questions, throw them down there in the comments. It's just about that time. Get the bees buttoned up and see you girls again on a warm day in February. So anyway, thanks for watching my boring off-the-cuff videos that I never script or never prepare for. So you get what you get. And like I say, if you got any questions, throw them down there. So I'm going to walk around here and turn my camera off because somehow I lost my little remote deal to start it and stop it. So you guys have a great day and take care of your beekeeping, or good luck with your beekeeping. Oh, by the way, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that cool guy stuff so that I can never be a big YouTuber anyway. Y'all take care. Good luck with your bees.